Shooting a camera like this, just black and white, is absolutely liberating. You isolate the subject, composition, lighting, everything that is photography is at the forefront. It becomes so much easier to photograph things. And I encourage you, if you do not want to get this camera because it is super expensive, to put your camera on black and white, go shoot JPEGs, and then see how it makes you feel. "5,001 images. That's how many photos that I've taken with the GR4 Monochrome. And I have to say that I'm more convinced now than ever that this was the right decision for me specifically to go with this camera. This is not a sponsored video whatsoever. I bought this camera myself for $2,200 and the accessories, and honestly, I would do it again tomorrow. Super worth it in my opinion. And in today's video, we're gonna go over all of my thoughts and just show you a ton of images that I've gotten with this incredible low light beast. The first thing you're going to notice whenever you pick this up is that it is actually pocketable. I do have a lot of things on here that make it not pocketable because I do like to wear it around my neck, just like this. I love this because it lets me take photos faster if I need to. It's very easy, and I don't like to stick cameras in my pockets. I love the accessories that I went with this camera, such as the top-down viewfinder, which is optical. It helps so much whenever you're doing street photography or documentary. And also, the lens hood is fantastic by Freewell, which is a magnetic clip system, so you can put a UV filter, polarizer filter, and even a mist filter. There was actually a gap in the market with rope straps for the GR system, so I decided to create my own with my new brand, Hart carry. I have 3 colors: gray, tan, and orange, and they all look great. So check out the website linked below. They're $35 and I ship anywhere in the United States. So thanks for supporting the channel. This also works for the X100V, Leica Q, any kind of smaller camera. A lot of people have bought them for various cameras, so thank you so much. The ergonomics of this camera are really great. I mean, you do get a premium camera in a very small package. Once you set the menu up, which is really easy to navigate, it's very easy to just go through, set it up, and you don't have to touch it anymore. And I find that to be very beneficial for a camera like this that's such a run and gun camera. I mean, it is a point and shoot, I would say professional grade camera. And just having an easy menu to go through has been super nice. And there's so many things within the menu that you can choose from, and it's just been very great to have an easy menu to go through. If you're walking down the street and something happens 3 feet in front of you, you can just pop on shoot. I would use snap focus, which is something I'll get into in a minute, but it does start up so fast and you can use it so you don't miss any of the decisive moments that are presented to you. The custom user presets U1, U2, and U3 are really nice to have because you can switch through different styles so quickly. So I have U1 set up for longer exposures, and I have U2 set up for highlight weighted metering, so I can get those really dark contrasty looks that I'm going for. Being able to actually click between these menus sounds very minimal until you actually get to use it, and I think it's just a really nice implementation of this camera because it doesn't have a lot going on, which is really great. Simplicity is key in a lot of ways, and I believe that the monochrome especially brings simplicity to the front door of this experience. Probably my favorite thing about this actual camera is the plus and minus buttons on the back. And I have mine set up for exposure compensation whenever I'm using aperture priority. And this is the only camera that I use aperture priority on because it works so well with the files that you have. Because if it is slightly over or underexposed, you know that your files are going to allow you to pull the highlights and the shadows when you typically wouldn't be able to do that with a color sensor camera. So you get away with a lot more with this camera. There's a lot of leniency in there because the files are so malleable that if you miss exposure slightly, everything will be okay because you can pull everything back in post. The GR4 and the GR4 Monochrome have a leaf shutter up to 1/4000th of a second. And if you're not sure what a leaf shutter is, it means that it doesn't have a mechanical shutter that goes up and down like traditional cameras do. It does have the shutter inside the lens, just like the X100V or the Leica Q series, which means you can shoot at any shutter speed with flash and it will work. So you don't have any banding or any cut off within your experience with a flash, which is fantastic until you get to the electronic shutter, which goes up to 1/16,000th of a second, which is super fast. So you can really use this thing in just about every scenario if you want to. And it's just so nice that they decided to give us so much with the electronic shutter, and the leaf shutter just makes all the difference in the world because it's silent. The leaf shutter also allows you to hold your camera a little bit more steady because there's not a lot going on there. Speaking of, the IBIS on this is absolutely incredible. For something so small, it just blows my mind how good the in-body image stabilization is. So having the leaf shutter paired with that, you can get really long exposures while standing still. And that brings me to the red filter that's built into this by just clicking the function button here on the back. The red filter is going to make the reds pop more and also pull down the blues in the sky. Obviously you won't see those colors, but you can see that it changes the contrast and the values of the image itself. I typically don't use the red filter because I don't like the way it makes people's face look. However, I do use it if I'm trying to second it as an ND filter because you do lose a few stops of light whenever you use the red filter. And I think that's very, very helpful whenever you're shooting in bright conditions. You can slow your shutter down and just make some really great long exposures. And I'm sure they didn't intend for that to happen, but it is really nice that they did that for this camera. So that is a very good plus for me. I absolutely love that feature about the GR4 Monochrome. The macro mode, just like in the other GRs, is great, and it does lend to another style of photography. So you can do long exposures with the red filter, or you can do different types of photography with the red filter as well, but then you have macro mode also. So it just gives you a lot of different ways to shoot, and you can shoot at 1/16,000th of a second. You can do so many things with such a small camera, and it just blows my mind how well this thing actually works, and just like how much I actually utilize all the tools that it comes with. They're not overdoing it. They're not trying to be something that they're not. They're just giving us things that we will use, and these are tools that I use every single time I pick up this camera, and that's probably why it keeps bringing me back so often, because I can experiment with so many different types of photography. The image quality of this thing is outstanding. I mean, it's up to par with full frame cameras. Whenever you get into the black and white world, you lose so much that you don't need, and you can concentrate more on the composition, the lighting, and just what's in front of you rather than the colors that are there, and you don't get editing fatigue because you're not at the computer a lot, because there's very minimal edits that you have to do because it's almost perfect straight out of camera. The high ISO performance of this is outstanding. 409,000 ISO, having an image, it just still blows my mind. I talked about it in my last video, but that's one of the things that is just absolutely insane. Even in 2026, 409,000 ISO, you can get an image. It might not be the best image, but you can still get an image. And having the IBIS with that is going to allow you to actually slow the shutter down a little bit more, and you can get a decent image. So it's just really, really interesting how black and white or monochrome sensors work. There are some downfalls. Now, the thing is that the autofocus is one of the worst that I've seen in low light. It does horrifically, in my opinion, which is really funny because it's a low light beast. And you can hardly take a photo when it is low light. You have to be very, very intentional and very patient to get an image in low light. But of course, they do have snap focus, which is a predetermined distance that you can choose, and you can press down the shutter hard and it will take the image no matter what with that distance in mind, just like zone focusing. That kind of saves them in that little realm of autofocus or focusing, but at the same time, in 2026, for a $2,200 camera, autofocus should be good. It's not great in low light. It does really well during the light and in the certain environments that it could be in, but with low light it just doesn't do well, and that kind of makes me upset because you have all this other great technology within it and then they failed to give us good autofocus. Don't even try the continuous autofocus because it's not great. I have wanted to shoot this camera over and over and over again. I bring it with me everywhere. Sometimes I'm doing other things such as other camera reviews and stuff, and it's so hard for me not to bring this camera with me whenever I'm focusing on something else because I enjoy this camera so much. I just don't ever want to put it down. It's just so small, it's easy to use, it's lightning fast with the settings, and the aperture priority works so well for me, and street photography and documentation is just phenomenal. It's like the best expensive sidekick that you can have when you're shooting anything. It's just awesome. The 28mm is my favorite also, so it just all works really, really well for the things that I need. I would shoot black and white photography solely if I could, but unfortunately, at this moment in time, I cannot. I don't have the clientele yet for it. Maybe I will one day after this video. If anybody wants some black and white photography, hit me up. So if you're in need of a beautiful camera strap, make sure you check out Hart Carry. Link is below. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. It means the world to me. And thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoy these images. Even if you're not in the market for this camera, I think it's really cool to see what it can do. And it can do a lot for how small it is. It is a little expensive, I understand that. But compared to other black and white cameras out there, it's not expensive. It's almost one of the cheapest ones that you could possibly buy. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos and this one, and until next time, peace.